This flower pop-up, it really is quite spectacular. Fairly easy to make, but one or two little tricky folds. Now I'm using the Gerberas here, but it's also identical for the roses. So if you're doing the roses one, you're going to see the Gerbera. I'm just using this as an example. They're very, very similar. The shape's just slightly different, but the mechanism's identical. So if you bear with me, what we're going to do is use this one to demonstrate both of them for you. Okay, so I've got my base, and then I've cut out, and it's very simple, just 1, 2, 3 parts. Now you'll notice on this that we've got the white line, which is the cut line, a little bit more noticeable on the roses. Normally we have a red line, but we've kept this as white on here. So the first thing to do is just to come along and do all the creases, cuts and folds for each of the elements that we've got here. So the first thing I want to do is just cut the actual cut lines, and we can see here that we've got these in white, and this is what I call the larger of the two pieces. It's just a little line around here that swings round and comes to that point. But what I would like to do is just make this particular part a little bit bigger to allow for the effect, as I said, of the sort of pivoting action that goes on there. Now on this one, again, you're going to have to look carefully for these, but you'll see it now I'm pointing it out. We've got a cut line there, and then we've got one that comes along here, 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 and last but not least here. You'll notice these all line up. That's to sort of get the symmetry, as it were, and the geometry of the whole thing. The next thing to do is to put in our lines here to score those, which I've just done. And then comes the folding, and this is a little bit tricky on this one. Now this is identical for both halves, so if I just show you on this half, first of all we've got that centre line there. Now that's going to do one or two things. That's going to fold inwards for this part, so let's just put a bit of squeeze on that. And then that one is that sort of reverse fold, because what's happening here is it's going to squeeze and fold. If I just show you there, I'm pushing my thumb in, pushing that there, and it just pushes that over. You can see now the sort of the movement and the mechanism as we open and close. So it's a nice little V fold there, and it's a valley fold there and a mountain fold there, as it were. Boom, and it should operate like that. Now the other side's same again. It's a little bit tighter, but what we're going to do is sort of hold that part down here, squeeze, and it's just going to come over. So if I pull that part over there, squeeze that part there, just pinch it, it starts to just come down, and then that one's in there like so. So now both of them, if I get them both to come together, or one before the other, and I'm just going to push that down, and you can see now as I hold that we've got that mechanism there like so. So they're just folding in. Our second half is a little bit smaller, but the folds are exactly the same. They're just actually reversed. Now they are quite tricky, and I'll just show you quickly again. The secret is that one point's going out at the base here, and the other one's going in. So if you just start to pinch, maybe take this line here and pinch it and get a nice crease in there, and then on the other side, like so, then you'll just feel that centre line push that, and it should all start to just go over like so. And then we just repeat that for the other half. Now this is a bit smaller, and in all honesty I find that a lot trickier to get going. So again, just tease it with your nail there, pinch that line there, pop it over, pinch that line there, and that's now starting to come together for me. So if I push that in, actually that one, little one goes first, that one there, and just fold it over, and there we go. So they just work like so. So the next thing now to do is put this onto the base, but just before we do that, let's have a look at the smaller one here. Fairly simple. This just has a cut in it to allow it to sort of move, as it were, and then a score line there, and obviously on those bits there. So if I just pinch that, you can see now, so that cut now just enables it to separate and sort of pivot and move. Once you've done the folding, which really is the tricky bit on this, the next thing to do is put it down onto your paper, and one goes on one side, one the other. I think the easiest way to identify it is the one with the 2 smaller flowers at the bottom and the 3 at the top goes on the left hand side. So we'll put that one down first. I'm going to fold those in like so, and then put a nice bit of glue down on here and simply stick that into position over there like so. Now the second piece, the right hand piece, has got 3 flowers on the bottom and 3 on the top, and that has to kind of sit and nestle in underneath, so it's going to slide in with the floppy side down here, as it were, all the markers and the tabs down there, and I just want to ease that through round the corner, round the chicane, and that just slots in there, and you can see I've got that bigger part there, just allows us to have a little bit more play on that. Now I need to fold this all up so that we can glue it, so what I'm going to do is just fold that half back in on itself again, and fold this one in on itself. Now with the second one, I've just folded that up. I put a little bit of glue on there and a little bit of glue on this tab, but really the most effective way now is to actually pull it all open and do it what I call in its upright position. Like so. If I open and close it, we can see that it all springs out quite nicely. Closes okay, needed a little bit of squash. So the last thing to do now is to put the flowers on this part here. So I'll glue that tab there and this one here, and they'll just fold in underneath to stick. And of course we've got our cut lines and our fold lines there. Okay, we've got the top part here now, so I'll just stick that one on here like so onto that foot, as I can show you, and then the next one is under what I call pressure, so we're going to have to just hold that there like so and push that onto there, and then just close everything up, and that should go in nicely, and then open up, and there we go, the card should open up. This one just take a little bit of bedding in sometimes. It's worth just doing it a couple of times and make sure everything goes smoothly. Those pivot folds, make sure that you've got enough gap in there, that's important. But there we go. The hardest part is those foldings on the sides, just to create the lift and the curl in. But once you've mastered that, you'll have a fantastic card. And remember, this is the same process for the roses as well. Same principle, they're just a slightly different shape, but it all works in the same way. So have fun making these lovely floral cards.